This is Roblox, the biggest pedophile platform in the history of gaming. You might know it as a platform played by millions of kids, but behind this kid-friendly facade lies a cunningly calculated system designed to groom young kids online. This isn't just a story about a gaming platform, but about one of the most creative platforms that lost all of its reputation in just 2 years. And I'll be showing you how it happened. For most of us, it all started here, in 2006, when Roblox launched as a simple learning tool. Kids would playfully simulate physics and construction and dive into a community where adventure awaits. Pretty soon, kids discovered that they could use Roblox for more than just learning.
No other game I played has allowed me to creatively express myself at the level that Roblox has allowed.
And it really shows that Roblox is that customer interactive company that cares about what you're doing on their game.
But kids were not the only ones who loved it. Parents too were pretty impressed with Roblox.
I've been very impressed with the creativity and the social interactions that they have playing Roblox.
Definitely the best game out there that we found online.
And the visionaries behind it?
Hi, I'm David Bazuki. I'm the CEO and founder of Roblox.
And his partner, Vice President of Engineering, Eric Castle.
My name is Eric Castle. I am the co-founder of Roblox. Some of you might know me better by my very creative username, which is eric.castle.
Yeah! Both David and Eric, though very strong partners, were very different in real life. David, known as Builderman on Roblox, was the cool dude that everyone loved and respected. In the early days, he would invite kids and parents on tours through Roblox and gather feedback to make Roblox more fun and safe. But for David, Roblox was more than just a learning tool. It was an entirely new category of human co-experience. With his background in investment, he pushed the platform to great heights, driven by growth and financial success. Eric, on the other hand, was the heart of Roblox. He was the Vice President of Engineering who worked with all engineers to make everything work. It was Eric who perfected Roblox's core system, and nobody knew the ins and outs of Roblox like he did. A private guy with a big heart, he was one of the kindest persons, making sure that the company's values showed up in every line of code he wrote. Yeah, back then, in the early days, Roblox had maybe 10 people online.
We would sit around in our office, the four of us, and we knew every single person on Roblox. You know, it's like...
And so Eric and David would manually moderate the chats and directly talk to players. When they finally launched their first multiplayer game with 20 users, Roblox started to explode. From 20, it became 17 million users in just 6 years. And to stay financially independent, they soon introduced Robux. It would become central to Roblox's growing economy. But as Roblox grew, so did the challenges. The manual moderation just couldn't keep up with the millions of users online. The solution was to build a proper moderation system that would keep users safe. And so while David handled business, Eric was focused on building the moderation. Everything was going so well, they even launched their first TV commercial. It was a dream come true. On February 11th, 2013, Eric Castle passed away from cancer. The news hit hard. In a public blog post, David reflected on the 20 years they'd spent together, remembering Eric as the nicest guy he has ever met. But now, David was left to carry their vision of a safe and creative platform all alone. And just as he took on this new role, something very disturbing was happening behind his back that would expose a side of Roblox that no one had seen coming. But right now, David was busy at the GDC, promoting Roblox, which had grown to millions of users. With his newfound responsibility, David had a big decision to make: how to keep kids safe while growing the business. And so, David rolled out 3 major updates: paid access, so that creators could charge entry to their games, and a price floor, which set the selling price for items so high it pushed users to buy more Robux. But the third update was their biggest one yet: the developer exchange, DevEx. DevEx allows developers to convert their earned Robux into real cash. with Roblox taking a cut, of course. However, while really great for Roblox, these updates weren't so great for the community. They were raging. They felt betrayed as Roblox began to openly capitalize on creativity. Many quit, canceled their memberships, and even protested. And all of this happened just a month after Eric's passing. And just when Roblox began to make more money, something terrible happened that no one could have ever imagined. In a small home in Adelaide, Australia, Holly Newcomb was playing Roblox when another user suddenly messaged her and asked, "Do you know what a child predator is?" Holly didn't know what to say. She was only 12 years old. The stranger kept on asking, "Are you a preteen?" Allegedly knowing where she lived, he started threatening her to take her clothes off and take her to the bed. At this point, Holly broke down in tears and called her mom, who immediately reported it to Roblox. But despite multiple complaints, Holly's mom never received a response, and it became painfully clear to her that Roblox didn't take her seriously. And so, random users stepped up to report predators themselves, all in an attempt to keep Roblox safe. Meanwhile, it took David 2 months to finally ban the person who abused Holly. But soon, David faced a much darker problem that demanded his immediate attention.
Now, Roblox includes something called condo games, which feature adult themes and foul language. CBS 2's Anna Werner has more.
Around this time, a type of game known as condo games popped up on Roblox, a whole industry on its own. These aren't your typical games. They're virtual sex parties where avatars walk around naked or wear special outfits, act out special scenarios, and have special physics. And the chats in there can get downright abusive too. Obviously not a game for kids under 18. But users wouldn't find these games advertised as condo games anyways. They usually hide behind unrelated names that don't give away the actual content. But a quick Google or Reddit search can lead you to weird Discord servers where lewd chats and public uploads point the way. Every other minute, a new upload pops up, and once inside, regardless of age, it's a hunting ground for predators that can get all wild on grooming, send you more room invites, and what's worse, even continue their chats over on Discord. The news made its round, and soon countless articles started describing Roblox as a children's game with a sex problem, or revealed its war on porn. Yes, porn. Because those games don't just end up on Roblox. No, they also land on pornographic websites. While you can play them on Roblox, the activities within can of course be recorded and uploaded. As I said, it's a whole industry on its own. But why do these games even stay on Roblox? Why is nobody doing anything about it? Well, a look at their financial report reveals why. From a total of 2,000 employees, 1,700 are moderators. But with over 200 million users every month, 1,700 moderators are never enough. No wonder reports stack up faster than they can handle them. Of course, they've got AI bots to help them out, but those bots often mess up, wrongly banning users for saying LOL or flagging normal items as sexual content. And despite Roblox's policy of zero tolerance for endangering minors, their flawed moderation system lets predators slip right through. Even on Roblox's own dev forum, people openly doubt the platform's safety. But with all the chaos unfolding, what is Roblox doing about it? Well, going public. Yes, on March 10th, 2021, David launched the company's IPO on the New York Stock Exchange and officially became a billionaire overnight. But not just he was swimming in billions, but his games too. From Brookhaven to Adopt Me, each top game raking in billions of visits. And with such numbers, fixing moderation didn't seem to be on their agenda. But something else was definitely on their agenda. Something that would be the beginning of the end for Roblox. On the 21st of November 2021, 24-year-old Benjamin Robert Simon got a message.
In 2021, the day before Thanksgiving, I woke up to my fans messaging me news articles that the Roblox Corporation was suing me for $1.6 million.
Benjamin, better known as Ruben Sim, was one of the few people actively reporting Roblox's predators. But instead of embracing him, they sued him for sexual conversations and harassment. All fake charges with made-up evidence from his past. Stuff that didn't even happen on Roblox, but outside of it. But this was just the beginning, because 1 month later, Roblox tried to pull down a YouTube video that accused the company of child labor and exploitation. And the very month after that, 2 of Roblox's own developers were caught grooming kids. I mean, what a mess. Just 2 months after the lawsuit, not just the company's, but David's own reputation took a massive hit. And the community was raging. People didn't know what was going on and demanded answers. And those answers would soon come in form of a report. Roblox is a platform for children, but also the leading platform for pedophiles, with ex-employees, developers, award winners, and users being linked to a wide array of misconduct. The report was loaded with cases of child abuse and developers exploiting Roblox for all the wrong reasons. But this was no ordinary report. It was a newsletter known for exposing bad company practices. So on the day it came out, Roblox's stock dropped by 4%, and within the next 2 months, it dropped by 50%. Such news always hit a company hard. But in Roblox's case, it was especially brutal, because ever since going public, Roblox never turned a profit. Revenue was up, sure, but the earnings were deep in the red. And with the company bleeding billions, one investor even fired off a letter to David saying, "You and your team need to get dead serious about becoming profitable." And David did get serious. With the pressure mounting left and right, he knew he needed to act very, very fast.
What's really interesting about the dating market, there's probably a third of the population that won't go on Bumble or Tinder or Hinge or whatever just because of awkwardness.
David was hinting at the future roadmap, because shortly after this interview, David announced he would ease restrictions on profanity, dating, gambling simulations, and alcohol according to age guidelines. And these news came 2 years after Roblox's director of safety assured that while Roblox is a safe space for meeting, we prohibit content that portrays romantic relationships. And then David dropped the bombshell.
Do you think like the more mature things like nudity will ever be allowed on Roblox in any way?
I think what I would say is we would lead first and foremost with safety and civility, and then second with mirroring what happens in the physical world. And so I would never rule it out. I would say getting to that kind of stuff probably isn't in the short-term future for us.
David won't rule out nudity, a statement that would yet again face scrutiny. The National Center of Sexual Exploitation called out David in an open letter for knowing that Roblox was being used to target, groom, and abuse children with inadequate parental controls and a false sense of security. Just like Holly, hundreds of other children were also mentioned in the letter. Yet, the letter ended optimistically, hoping that Roblox will make the necessary changes. But to everyone's surprise, just a few months after the letter, Roblox, instead of a kids app, announced it now wants to be a dating app. At the Roblox Developer Conference opening keynote, David dropped his plan to allow online dating on Roblox. Ironically, David seemed a little bit too shy when breaking the news.
And ultimately, we think 3D simulated meeting, I'm not going to use the D word, but subsequently real-life relationships is going to happen.
But while David was acting fast to please shareholders, parents too were acting fast. In their most recent case, parents sued Roblox over false safety promises and child grooming, with pretty clear evidence to support their claims. Roblox, however, dismissed every single accusation. Because in the US, Roblox is protected by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which shields them from liability for third-party content. Anything not directly published by Roblox themselves falls under this protection. How ironic. The company is suing Ruben Sims for actions outside of Roblox, but uses the same excuse to dodge issues that happen within their own platform. And so, to Roblox, the plaintiffs are simply wrong and have cherry-picked statements. David, the cool dude that was loved by kids and parents alike, is now drowning in scandals. But why go this far? Well, the community came to a tough conclusion. Eric. On forums everywhere, users remember the times when he was still around, and that ever since Eric died, Roblox has been on a downhill stretch. And just when you realize that the whole moderation system wasn't even David's idea, things become painfully clear.
And then my partner Eric saying, we have to build a moderation system.
Yes, a moderation system. But with all the growth and the lack of moderation, what would Eric say now if he was still alive?
You mentioned your co-founder, Eric Castle, earlier, who died tragically of cancer in 2013. If he was here today, what do you think he would think of the Roblox that Roblox has become?
Wow, I think he'd be proud. It's a good question.
Yeah.
Not sure he would be proud, David. Eric's dream was that of a safe, creative space for kids. But in the world of business, dreams take a back seat when profits are at stake. And that's when even the most powerful words from the most powerful men are spoken in sheep's clothing. Because who would have thought that one day adventure awaits would come to mean something so terribly different?